A rare treat for us. We're getting Dunkin' this morning for breakfast before we head out. It was supposed to be storms all day, but I don't know. They keep getting pushed back and this sky is looking absolutely gorgeous. It is so warm today that we just can't help but want to go into the water. So as long as the weather holds out, we are going to be heading to a spring later on, and you guys all get to come with us. Alright, we just got done with breakfast and I've been kicked out of the RV. I tried to go in and come check out why. Honey's in there filming a commercial. I guess I'm just too loud or something. Hey, Evelyn's allowed in there? Come on, Mom. I'm sorry I'm so loud. Alright, the honey's finally done. We're all ready to go. We're packed up and going. And check out this sky. It just started raining over here, but look what we're headed towards. Big old blue skies with giant clouds. Super excited. We're actually going to a really cool spring, and you guys, I'm so excited to show you. Alright, so we just made it a whole hour and a half away to Warm Mineral Spring Park. But check it out, it's a school building. It's somewhere back over there. This parking lot is packed. It is a warm, beautiful day. I cannot wait to get into this water. We are expecting rain here in maybe like 4 or 5 hours, so we should be good to swim for quite a while. Check out these beautiful skies. Oh my goodness. That looks like a turtle shell. That looks like an alligator. Funny enough, we actually saw some alligators sitting in a pond on the way over here, so that was pretty neat. Check it out. This place was recently put on the U.S. Historic Landmarks, and this is what happens. They take over, the government takes over. Now there's a no trespassing private property, and you got to go around the side into the logistics building where they're going to charge you an arm and a leg to go play in nature. That's something that God created, and that's what's going to happen now. We got to go through all these loops and circles and hoops just to go swim in some warm water. Check this out. Jackson's already reading the sign, buddy. Do you want to read it for us?
Digging and or removing of mud, artifacts, or water from the springs is prohibited. Keep all springs full. Please do not dig.
How crazy, you can't even dig the mud. You can't take the mud with you.
Crazy.
So make sure we got to empty our shoes before we leave, all right, guys?
All right, so I just went up to pay because it is $15 per adult. All the kids are free at this spring, and she told me to come check it out before we pay. I'm not too sure, but I took advantage of it.
They're working on the honor system, which I appreciate.
All right, before we get in here, just a really cool fact that I read. All the way at the bottom, it's 100 degrees.
What?
And as the water comes up to the surface, it's only 85 degrees in this warm mineral
Wow,
spring.
that's so cool. And this is absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
This looks like just a big pond. What?
The pool is packed.
It is. It's super packed, and there's tons of people. But this looks absolutely pleasant. And I did forget my underwater case again in the car this time, but the car is literally just right back there. Probably have to go that way anyways, so. All right, so this place is absolutely gorgeous, but I'm a little convinced that it's past its prime. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been touched or refixed. This entire building is falling apart and it's damaged. As you can see, it looks like they started but never continued. And I did want to read this sign right here. So the original fountain of youth. According to authentic historical documents, this warm salt spring is the fountain of youth vainly sought by Ponce de Leon. His search for it led to the discovery of Florida on Easter Sunday, 1513. Ponce de Leon first heard of this spring from Indians and one Friar Ortez while he was governor of Puerto Rico. He made a second voyage in 1521 in search of his spring. His ships were anchored at Charlotte Harbor, a few miles to the south. While on their way here, his party was ambushed by hostile Indians, and Ponce de Leon was mortally wounded. He was carried back to his ship and died a short time later. How sad. It is now known that for centuries, first Indians and later white men journeyed many miles in search of their health and well-being by bathing in the drinking of these waters. Many years later of research, studying documents and maps in this country and abroad, Jonas E. Miller of Washington, D.C. was able to establish the above facts. He discovered this spring as the original fountain of youth in February 1942. So funny enough, you can see a little bear and a little Mickey Mouse. He's so cute. There is a lot of older people here. I'm talking 50s plus, which is kind of funny that this is the fountain of youth, and this is a almost like a mecca to the older community. They outnumber everybody here. I'm going to say 3 to 1 just about. There's a few kids, a couple adults, and a lot of older folks. So that makes sense that this is the fountain of youth and people are just drawn to it. Believe it or not, when he came here, he was 15. Look what it did to him. He was in the water for like 15 minutes. Look what it did to him.
All right, we found another sign.
More than 10,000 years ago, prehistoric man saber-toothed tigers, giant sloths, mammoths, and mastodons lived in this area of Florida, which eons later became a part of Sarasota County mineral thing. Here in Little Salt Spring, which is approximately 3 miles away, has preserved scientifically accepted evidence of the carboning of human and animal skeletons, as well as wooden artifacts found in these space since 1958 by underwater archaeologists and other divers, has determined their antiquity.
Antiquity. Yep.
These important scientific studies have resulted in much recognition being given to these things. Oh.
Good job. Oh wow, there's a bag. Go for it, baby. Spring was once a cave. Wow, that's cool.
Over a very long period of years, possibly during the last other divers resulted in the finding of ancient human skulls, bones, and which gave indication of this court being a Florida long before the beginning of written history. In 1977, the national significance of Warm Mineral Springs was recognized when it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Good job.
All right, so as we're heading out of here, I've got to say, as neat as this experience was, I probably wouldn't recommend anybody actually come out here. I mean, I feel bad because it's such a historic location, but it's not well taken care of. The people here were kind of rude. I'm not talking about the people working here. The people working here were actually fantastic. It's the people that also come to visit, probably locals and stuff like that. They were actually really rude. We had several older people advise us that the baby should not be in the water, even though it specifically says in the rules before you walk in that anybody who is not potty trained needs to be in a swim diaper, and we literally put Baron in a swim diaper when we got here. So it was rude of people to mention that, and it didn't seem like they were taking our word for it. Not all of them, their first language is English, so maybe there was a communication barrier, but we even had smaller children from a distance shout, "Why is that baby in the water?" So it was just a weird experience altogether, when clearly in the rules it says anybody who is not potty trained can be in the water as long as they had a swim diaper on. So this place is going to get a low rating for me. It was beautiful. I liked reading the signs. I liked the history of it, but it's not well taken care of, and the locals seem to be kind of not so nice. So take it for what it is. All right, so after leaving the warm mineral springs, the honey was not satisfied. The day was still beautiful, still early in the day. The rains have not come in yet, so she looked up a couple of other things to do. And look at this beautiful bridge that we're crossing over to get to our next destination. And we were so excited to show the kids this, and it turned out to be a wonderful trip, and I'm so happy that she decided to take us here. This is absolutely beautiful. This was definitely, like, surprisingly close to where we just were. And I would have much rather have come here first and spent all day here, because there is tons to do in this area. So here we go. All right, so that's where we're headed. We're headed to Stump Pass Beach State Park. All right, so super cool enough, this little peninsula that we're going through in Stump Pass Beach is between Lemon Bay, one of my favorites, and the Gulf of Mexico. So this will be super cool. Like literally one on each side. The beach is so long and narrow that you literally have Lemon Bay on the left and the Gulf of Mexico on the right. So this is gonna be so super unique and cool. Like check that out right there. Lemon Bay, which I hope it tastes like lemons. And then you have, this is technically the Gulf of Mexico, but it's also called Beachcomber of Minnesota Key. And there it is right there, Stump Pass Beach State Park. Uh-oh, I think we're gonna run into what we ran into last time when we went to Siesta Beach. This is going to be one heck of a parking experience. What is this? Oh my God. This is wild. Wow.
No wonder why it's 5 miles an hour.
Uh-oh. We're gonna be lucky if we find anywhere to park, anywhere near this parking. There are several other parking lots, but this is the closest one, so we gotta try this first. What luck. We literally got one of the first spots. It just opened up. There was a car in front of us, but instead of parking, they wanted to turn around, so they asked us to stop. I thought they were going to do some cool maneuver into this spot, but he just turned around and went out. So we got the first spot available. How nutty is that? What luck. This beach is absolutely beautiful. We got a nature trail access right there, but I'm actually just going to stop right here and throw up the drone and see what we can see, because I have a feeling this is going to be one majestic view. I love the fact that I'm getting familiar with my drone again. It's been way too long since I've used it, and I'm glad I've been busting it out a lot more, but I totally picked the wrong time of day to throw this thing up. Look at that, I flew right into a cloud. How obnoxious, but it's still pretty from what you can see. You can't even see the water over there. How sad is that? But on this side, Lemon Bay looks absolutely refreshing, and honestly enough, we didn't even go in there, which was sad to say because it would have been nice to experience both of them at the same time. But this cloud that I flew into was very obnoxious, and I did actually have somebody passing by tell me that it might not be okay to even have the drone up, but I've read all the signs that were here, and there was nothing hinting that it wasn't okay to put the drone up. But check out this view, at least on that side. Lemon Bay looks really refreshing, and then check out this goofy guy that comes and walks in front of my drone. Like, what a jerk. Get out of the way. All right, so that was actually a fun experience for all of 2 seconds. It got really foggy. You can see, wow, as beautiful as this day is, this is crazy how foggy it is, and I wonder why. Like, you can barely see past those people. It's like a blanket. But cool enough, somebody was really impressed with the drone itself, so they wanted to take my information down and maybe buy their own. If you're ever wondering how you can get your own drone, I do have a link. It'll be in the description below. Make sure you check it out if you are interested. This is so ominous, like so cool, right? It is, it's so cold, but it's definitely very blue and beautiful, but you can barely see like 100 yards out. It is just a dense fog all over the place. How beautiful. Oh, wow, that felt good. I've actually got to run and go check out this bathroom and give it a rating, but check out how many shells are on this beach. Jackson was saying it's got to be in the trillions, and I don't think he's too far off. There is so many shells, literally all over the place, and this is definitely going to be a great place to do some shelling. This is the beach trail, absolutely wonderful, and off in the distance, I hope you guys can hear it. Somebody's playing one of my favorite songs ever. I see clouds of white and rainbow bright. Love it. Somebody's having a beach party probably right on this dock. It's probably one of these boats. There is so much. There he is. Turn the music off. Son of a gun. I wonder if he gives tours. I'd love to ask.
2,000 years later.
Absolutely wonderful. That bathroom 100% gets a 5 out of 5 rating, solely because the whole time I'm using the bathroom, that man in the boat was just driving around blasting Jimmy Buffett. That was absolutely incredible. What a way to relax. I absolutely loved it. All right, so cool enough to actually have a flag here, and the flag warns you to watch out for stuff. So we've got a green flag, which is low hazard, calm conditions, exercise caution, peligro bajo, conciencia, calamas, tenglo, cuadro. And you gotta watch out for the rip currents. This is what I was telling the kids about. So here, now we're actually gonna learn what a rip current is. So break the grip of the rip. If you're caught in a rip current, don't fight the current, swim out of the current, then to shore. So they want you to swim sideways, then back to shore. So don't ever try to fight the current. You're gonna run out of speed and energy before that happens. If you can't escape, float or tread water, that's smart. If you need help, call or wave for assistance. So there you go. The more you know, the safer you can be. The honey was saying that she wished we would have brought the wagon with us, which we don't bring it anywhere because it does take up a lot of space in the back of the car, especially if we have other stuff that we're bringing with us. And I'm glad we did not, because this sand is definitely not drivable on. This we would have got stuck. I can barely walk on this. The sand is it's almost like quicksand, but you don't sink all the way into it. You just definitely sink into it. Hard to walk on until you get to this packed part, and then all these shells would have been like little speed bumps just everywhere we go. Baron definitely would have woke up. And just over there you can see they actually have a private beach section, which that's pretty neat. The motel or hotel, whatever that is, just goes right off into the beach. That's very beautiful. All right, well, I took my snorkel in and I can't see a darn thing. This water is very cloudy, which made me a little nervous, and it gets really deep really fast, which is kind of crazy as well. It's a huge drop off right here right at the beginning. But I did just run in and do a belly flop and almost didn't make it back out. Couldn't find my footing. It gets so deep. But I'll take you guys out with me just a little bit. The murkiness of this water is making me a little nervous, because you never know what could be in these waters. Of course, I think you would see something before it gets you, but you never know. And this water, it's literally like, this reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean before the Black Pearl would surface somewhere. There's fog, or even the Davy Jones. So much fog. It's absolutely nuts. But it is such a beautiful day. This water feels amazing. It's so amazingly cool and refreshing. And I would love, like, you can barely see the bottom. That's so nuts. Like you can't even see my feet. And I'm only knee high. Nuts. I want to look for some really cool shells. All around us, the creatures of the sea play. And I'd love to get an introduction and an interview with you, Mr. Bird. And of course, his groupies are behind him. Will you stay there for me to get close? That is one heck of a beak. What a cutie pie. But this day is ending quite nicely. This water is getting real chilly. The kids are getting cold. But I could literally spend all day, every day, going through just about every single one of these shells, looking for the most perfect ones. Found some really cool ones. I gave them to the honey and the kids. And then out of nowhere, this random ball, which I thought was a rock, came floating up to me, and I grabbed it and I sniffed it, and it smelled like the most disgusting seafood poop ever. And then I busted it open, and it looked just like a ball of grass. The honey filmed it, so maybe it'll be on our TikTok or something. So make sure you go check the links down below and check out that video. We have no clue what it was, but it definitely was not of this planet. Well, it had to have been on this planet, but it definitely stunk really bad. And there's pelicans in the distance dive bombing this water, and there's fishermen over here too, which makes me think, like, what's in this water, because I didn't see a single thing. But maybe far out there's some big fish, which would be really cool. But the water actually gets really deep, so I don't know, you can kind of tell it drops really hard just right here, and then it gets even deeper. I was up to my shoulders, and I was only maybe like 10 feet in, which is absolutely wild. But this day is definitely coming to an end. We've got to get home. We've got to make dinner, and then there's this cool little fun thing planned at the campgrounds that we're at. There's like a social around the campfire. But I swear, I could spend all day finding the most coolest shells ever. And this is one heck of a beach to do it on. I've already found sponges. I've found poop, probably. So many beautiful shells. And there's like massive ones too, which is absolutely wild. They're like the size of your palm every once in a while. I think most of those get picked up, but some of them make it. Like, look over here, I just found one. Look at the size of this shell. Absolutely wild. And it's so thick and heavy. And there's much better looking ones than this. This is just one that I randomly found just now. Obviously, you guys watched it in action. So cool. All right, I think we're actually going to go on the nature show before we leave, but I have to show you guys the gopher tortoises, which we do have tons of them here, and they're protected, so do not touch me or my burrow. I did not, don't touch. Oh my goodness, we almost just got fined. I don't swim, don't put me in water. Wow, that's really good to know. But the honey's headed over here. We're going to go check out this nature trail. Hopefully, it's pretty big. We're going to get a look at this map. Adopt a shore? That's nice, we could do that. Let's take a look at this map. So welcome to Stump Pass Beach State Park, one of 4 island state parks that make up the Barrier Islands Geopark. The park lies at the southern tip of Minnesota's Key, one of the long string of barrier islands that skirt the coast of southwest Florida. The island is bounded on the west of the Gulf Coast of Mexico and on the east by Lemon Bay, part of the greater Charlotte Harbor estuary. The map shows the entire watery world surrounding the park. Isn't that so cool? Check out how big this all is. It is massive. There's so much to do, so much to see. So we're at number 1, and there's tons more, and this is only about an hour and a half from where we are now. So we're more than likely going to come back on a later date as well, and hopefully get a better day to fly that drone and get a really good... Where do you see that?
Sawfish are here.
Sawfish? No way! Good find, kiddo. And they're endangered, so make sure you respect, release, and report. Very cool. And Mom's calling for us. She wants to get on this trail and get going. Oh man, something I didn't notice last time I came up to the bathroom, but look, they have boogie boards all shoved in there. That's cool. I'm wondering if it's to stop people from trying to get through there, but that's a pretty neat little addition here. Somebody off in the distance is having like a beach party, and I definitely can't wait to head that way and check it out. But there's supposedly manatees in this water, but maybe that's what I found. Maybe it was manatee poop. I thought manatee poop was more squishy. That thing was rough and tough. It literally looked like a floating rock. Let's see if we can see any. Check this out. Welcome to Stump Pass Beach State Park. All plants and animals are protected. And look at all of these beautiful giant shell creations that people have found and made and stacked over here. Yeah, and some sponges and some coral.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so cute. What a wonderful thing that people have done.
Hey,
I
look,
wish
a
we could have
little
contributed
macaroni
to
shell.
it.
Hey, look, a little macaroni shell.
Yeah, look at this one, little doggy. That is so cool. Do you guys have any shells on you that you want to add to this collection?
No.
Nothing? We didn't keep any? That's
Hey,
okay.
wait, there's some on the floor. Maybe.
Oh yeah, there you go. Make sure you find a nice one to add into it.
Maybe like this one.
Very cool. Check out this super cool turtle nest. Stump. Wow, big lizard. Big one just running by. But they have loggerheads, green turtles, Kemp's Ridley, Minnesota Key, loggerheads, 5,314. It says last year's record was already exceeded. Yippee, that is too cool. I didn't know they actually had turtles here, but I'd love to actually see some. And even help with the birthing process and get them to the water. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but I'd love to do it anyways. Alright, we actually didn't end up going on that nature trail. The honey wanted to get going. There was a campfire social that we thought was planned, but of course due to the rain it was canceled. So that's going to be it for this episode. Look at that beautiful flag waving out there. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And if you could, make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications. And don't forget to go down in the description below and check out all our other links and follow along as well. It really helps.